So hello everyone. In this video I'll be talking about URL. So URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator, and every time you search something on Google or watch a video online, your device, or to be specific the browser which you are using, interacts with something called a called an URL, which looks something like this. The common misconception is that a URL is just an address on YouTube, or just an address on the web. But the catch is that it also acts as a set of instructions for the web server provided to it by the client, which is the web browser which you are using. All right. In simple words, URL is not just an address, but also a set of structured commands which tells a website what a digital asset to fetch in the front end and how to behave exactly. So in so now I'll be showing you what each part of the URL means. So in the first section, you can see that the full URL starts with something called HTTPS. HTTPS is nothing but simply a web-based protocol which is used to transfer data on the web from one place to another, from one machine to another. There are two types, HTTP and HTTPS. The one which is used mostly in today's time is HTTPS, as it has TLS encryption, uh, which does not allow hackers to get in between the request and response and manipulate it, whereas the HTTP is or uses simply plain text to transfer the data from one place to another. And in that HTTP, a hacker can get in between via the man in the middle attack and snoop and modify the request and responses. All right. So the next part of the URL is shop dot. So this is a subdomain which appends, which can be before or after a main domain, which in our example is the X hive. A subdomain, or simple way to understand a subdomain is that think of the main domain as a parent and a subdomain as a child. As you know that a child cannot exist without a parent in a real world. Similarly, a subdomain cannot exist without a domain, whereas a domain can exist without a subdomain. And an interesting fact about subdomains is that there can be subdomains of subdomains as well, and there can be thousands and thousands of subdomains for a single domain, like facebook.com or google.com, as they are very big organizations. They have thousands and thousands of subdomains. All right. So as you might have come across many subdomains in the real world, like shop, in our example it's shop.xi.com. They could be admin.xi.com, or it could be uh, support.xi.com. It could be anything. All right. So the next part is the top level domain, which is .com. It's called a top level domain, or TLD. So level domain, what it does is that it implies the scope or usage of that domain, or even the location of a domain. So as you might have come across .in domains, .uk domains, there's are location specific top level domains which specify the location of a web application to be used in, all right, in a geographical location. And you might have come across .org or .edu subdomains. .org are for organizations and .edu are for educational institutions. There are a ton of top level domains, and these are the common ones which I mentioned. And these top level domains are assigned by global authorities and managed by them, and these are not in the control of a website owner. All right. The next part of the domain is the path. Path in our particular example is slash products slash laptops. These are two hierarchical path. The first in top level hierarchy is products, and under that comes the laptops. The path tells the server which page or feature to use, and paths usually map to sections of a website. They often represent routes that trigger certain functionality of a web page. All right, like showing search results in case of YouTube, which I'll be showing you in coming parts of this video. These are simply like these paths simply contain web pages or .html files which trigger certain functionality in a web page. All right. To be specific, the path in itself do not trigger some functionality. It just gives us, it just points the web server at the right direction to where to find the particular files or the resource, mm, from which or by which the functionality is to be triggered. All right. uh, the next part of this domain is the query parameters. This might be a little confusing for beginners as or for people new in tech, as it is very complex in many web pages which we see in day-to-day life. And for the sake of example, I have made this simplified the query parameters to just two query parameter section to just two parameters. The query parameters always come in key value pairs. All right. So in our particular example, we have uh, two query parameters, which is brand is the key, and the value for the band is del, which is separated by and operator. And the next key is minimum price, for which the value is 50,000. These are called query parameters and it is separated by and operators, as you can see. These in this particular example, as we have used this example of a e-commerce platform. So this is the result of a filter option which we get usually in e-commerce websites. All right. So in the filter section, we can imagine that I have selected that brand must equal to Dell, and the minimum price must equals to 50,000, as I have gone under the product sections and the laptop section. All right. So as I told you, the next part is the AND operator, which is simply the query parameter separator. So if there were five query parameters, like there would be one, two, three, or four. There would be like three to four query parameter separators in between. All right. So let's just look into the flow chart, which will make the process of understanding easier. So as I've told you, the start protocol would be, in our case, it would be HTTPS, as this is the most commonly used protocol, web-based protocol. And the next section is the domain section. In our example, the subdomains prefixes the main domain. So I have included it before the main domain, and then comes the main domain, which is x hyphen, and the top level domain, which is the .com. All right. So then after we go into the path section, the path section in our example is the products, followed by the laptop section. I have included the category path because in under the category we have selected the laptops. All right, so this was under the category section or the category path, and the value for the category was laptops. All right, so after that we have two options, or the client or the web page has two options. It can either display unfiltered products. If we would have not used the filters, the query parameter section would have not existed in the flowchart or in this example itself. But for the understanding, as query parameters have become very common in today's URL, so I have included it for the sake of understanding and for this example as well. So we have two options. If we don't use any filters, it goes simply and displays unfiltered products. All right, it displays all the products under the laptop section. All right, and as we have used the query parameters, so this flowchart follows to the query parameters and the query separator, which is the uh, question mark sign. But as the question mark sign was not present as a function in this website, so I have used the divider operator sign. So bear with me for this example. The query separator and followed by the brand parameter, which is brand equals to del, which as I've told you, it already always comes in key value pairs, and followed by the minimum price parameter, which is the 50,000, and the query or the query separator would be here in between. All right, so we have an option of using additional parameters as well, but as we had used in imagination only two parameters, which were the brand and the minimum price parameters. So we have only two parameters, so we'll skip this part, and the web page now displays filtered products for our search. All right, I hope this was quite informational, or it was quite, I have explained this in a simple manner. Now I'll go into the practical section. Now I'll go into the YouTube and show you practically how these things get implemented in real production website. All right, so we are in YouTube now, right now. Now I'll show you the domain or the URL. As you can see, the HTTPS is present out here, and this sign which you can see of love verified by Gluver Trust Services. Sometimes when the protocol is HTTP, there is a diagonal slash, red color diagonal slash, which indicates that the site is not secure. Most of the times it simply means that the protocol is HTTP instead of HTTPS. All right, so as you can see, the where HTTPS is present, followed by www.youtube, and the www.youtube we can take into the main domain. www to be explained separately would require another video, as in for the simplicity of this video we'll count this in one main domain section. All right, and there comes the top level domain as well, which is .com. All right, now as you can see that the uh, URL is fairly clean, and it does not contain any path or does not contain any path or query parameters. It simply contains a slash after top level domain. This indicates that the web page is this is at the root of the web page right now. Now I'll try some searching something, and I'll show you how the query parameters and the path executes in real world. All right. Now, as you can see, the path has also started to appear, and there is a query parameter which shows that the search query is the key, and new plus zealand is the value for that key. The reason uh, the addition operator is used is because it is used as a placeholder for the empty space in between, because the URLs cannot have empty spaces in between. So an addition sign is used as a placeholder for empty spaces. All right. So as you can see, there is the results path. So the path identifies a resource in the YouTube web server, and the YouTube application decides what functionality is to be associated with with this route, which is results. All right. So the functionality which is uh, tied to this path is the search functionality. All right. So whatever we write into the search goes into the results, goes into the resource or a web page of in the results section, and the data inputted but is inputted via the search query key, uh, which holds the value New Zealand. All right. Yeah, this might be a little difficult at the first glance, but it gets easier as we practice or as we keep uh, learning it through and through. And yeah, this was all about the video. I hope I was able to explain you what URL simply means, or the basics of a URL. And if you found any value through this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking and sharing this video as well. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye bye.